What's going on, YouTube? It's Eric again, back with another video. As you can tell, I'm kind of sitting here in my office. I'm kind of doing it kind of like a little bit of a weekend ramble style where I just kind of really just sit here in front of the camera and kind of talk to you guys. And a lot of it is going to be about the coronavirus. And the last video I didn't really necessarily talk about it only because it was pretty much in its infancy. And I believe it had started to kind of branch out into other countries, but it was kind of still in the Asia area and maybe kind of creeping into kind of Europe, I think is where it was. But I want to kind of talk about that here a little bit and kind of get into the sports content here just a little bit. It's going to kind of the coronavirus and the sports are going to kind of tie in together here. And I'm just going to give my thoughts on it, which is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I kind of think it's the most logical and the most the same kind of steps that we're seeing. And I kind of say that as a country, I think we're kind of going on the extreme end of everything, even though there's only been a little bit. I think the last time I knew, at least here in Michigan, there's been less than 30 known confirmations. Goodness, excuse me, I can't talk this morning. Known confirmations of the virus, being here in Michigan, and mostly over towards the Detroit area. There's one in Lansing, which is just north of me here. There's a couple in Saginaw, and I think there might have been one or two over in the Grand Rapids area. So kind of very much spread out all through here. And there's only been little pockets of confirmed areas that people had this kind of virus. What we don't know is how many people have the virus and only have mild symptoms of it that don't necessarily feel they need to go to the doctor to get any kind of medical treatment. And really, the one article that I read, which was out in Seattle, she kind of said it was pretty bearable just using over-the-counter kind of medications like your Sudafeds, your antihistamine kind of stuff that kind of can rein the symptoms back here a little bit and kind of let you get through it. She had some respiratory stuff, fever, and a kind of a little bit of a cough and whatnot. She said it did come on suddenly, which if you go to the CDC or the WHO websites, they will kind of tell you that the symptoms are kind of sudden, that they come on kind of all at once. They're not kind of like the flu where it's kind of oh goodness, I can't talk. Excuse me, guys. Where it kind of progressively comes up and then kind of progressively comes down. It kind of comes and goes, kind of, at least what I'm reading, kind of it's at the snap of a finger, kind of that kind of thing. And how it all kind of ties into the sporting events and the government. I think like I said, I think we're kind of right here on the extreme end of things, where all your major kind of sports outlets have either postponed or canceled their stuff, especially with the NCAA. And being with March Madness, which I was really looking forward to, because the men's basketball as well as the women's basketball tournaments were kind of wide open, where really you could have really had any kind of team win the national championship if they had a good run going on. And there was a lot of disparity, at least at the college level. You're not going to see any basketball games in the NBA. Now, I'm not a real big NBA fan. As you guys know, I think the NBA is just kind of an offensive league with hardly any defense, and if you touch your jersey, it's a foul. So I don't watch the NBA. I don't think it's a very good product, kind of more or less. Major League Baseball's kind of got into this. The NFL has said it's kind of going to do a wait and see approach, but kind of right now things are kind of going to go on as scheduled. At least the last time I looked at this. I don't know about soccer or any of the other sports organizations. I don't know if they're kind of following suit or whatnot. I just know the major ones that have said we're either going to postpone or we're going to cancel our events. And really, the NCAA is kind of taking the biggest kind of hit. They said winter and spring championship kind of seasons are going to be done because they have a lot of athletes to really think about and a lot of people to think about. And how this kind of all transitions into kind of what I said earlier about the pockets and whatnot, only having 30 people here, less than 30 people here in Michigan, and I can't remember the last time. I think it's less than 2,000 here in the United States confirmed cases. We're taking a very, very extreme approach on this. We're kind of canceling everything, and I know we're kind of just in our infancy. We don't really have a lot of information on this product, and I know that people have said that, hey, it's a little bit more deadlier than your flu kind of virus. But again, I look at that comment and I kind of tell people, well, what illness really isn't deadly if you don't have it under control, personally under control, and if you feel good enough to kind of go out and go do things, you have to go do them. Life just doesn't stop just because of a virus that has came out here. And The reason I say that is the government can really kind of do anything they kind of want to try to help curtail this thing, but as contagious as this thing is, it's still going to get out and it's still going to spread. So no matter what the government kind of does, or kind of implements or puts in place, the virus is still going to spread. Kind of again, it's based on what I'm reading here on the CDC and the WHO website, where this is a highly contagious disease. I guess I kind of look at it kind of like the flu. And I know that a lot of people said, Eric, it's not the flu. It's more deadly than the flu. And I totally understand that because of the kind of people that have kind of taken over. Now, I know I'm kind of really bouncing all over the place here in this video, but the real kind of gist of it is I'm not really going to get really concerned about it until you see kind of mass casualties kind of happen. And we really haven't seen kind of mass casualties happen like with MRSA or Ebola. If it's unchecked, it has a high death rate. This one really doesn't have a high death rate. The kind of the people that I'm really concerned about is one of my friends. His friends and his wife kind of living in an assisted living home. That place is on lockdown, nobody in, nobody out. The only people that can go in and out is if you're a medical professional. That's the only people that go in there. No one from the general public goes in there. I could completely understand that because of this virus being as highly contagious and as deadly to elderly and people with complications as it is. But for kind of the general person that's kind of walking around, kind of doing the everyday thing, you might get some mild to maybe severe symptoms. And I don't want to say severe. It's kind of the term between mild and severe, that kind of right in the middle. You may get kind of a bad case of it. I will put it that way, not severe, but kind of a bad case of it. But for like me and you and many other people that kind of watch my content, which I haven't put any videos out here on, which I'll get into that here probably in another video. Me and you are going to be coming out here and we're going to be fine. We are going to be fine. It's like my mom and my dad, they're getting in their upper 60s. My dad's going to be 70 this year. I kind of are concerned about those two. But if I feel sick, I'm not going to go out and I go visit them quite often. I'm not going to go visit them if I'm sick and I kind of think that I could transmit the disease onto them, or really any kind of illness. It's not just this disease. It's the flu, the common cold, whatever, bronchitis, whatever kind of illness that I have. I'm smart enough and have enough common sense to know that I'm not going to kind of go out and kind of spread this thing. And I think that's a lot of people. I think a lot of people know this, but they kind of don't necessarily practice this. And wash your hands too about kind of going, if you're going to go out in public, do your due diligence and wash your hands and be sanitary and try and take a shower and do all that sort of stuff. It really kind of amazes me how many people just don't necessarily do that. And I'm going to kind of roll this over into as I went to, and I'll try to remember to put a clip up here, which I had on here when I kind of did my kind of vlog kind of videos, which didn't really turn out all that well. But a lot of the one place I went to didn't have any toilet paper at all. And why are people kind of going out and grabbing toilet paper for? This is not, it's not a disease where you're going to have diarrhea or nausea or anything like that. Now, the disease, this coronavirus thing may have those symptoms in it, but I haven't heard of really anybody having this disease and kind of needing that much toilet paper. I don't really understand the need for the sweat when it's a respiratory disease. It's not I think the term is gastrointestinal. I don't think that. I guess I'm dumbfounded by people doing this mass hysteria, and it's really what this is. It's mass hysteria about I need to get everything that I can because I'm going to be bottled up in my house for possibly weeks or months at a time, and that hasn't happened yet. That no one, the state and the national government has not said we're supposed to stay in our homes. And even if I was to stay in my home, I'm not going to go outside my property. Let's put it that way. If that puts it that way, I would have enough cabin fever and not really interacting with anybody to kind of want to go out and have a socialization, all that sort of stuff. Because to me, humans are naturally curious, I guess I will say. Naturally curious humans. They need that social interaction to kind of, just be around people is kind of what I want to say. But I don't know, guys. All this mass hysteria and the closing of sporting events and closing of gatherings and all this sort of stuff, I think it's kind of way on the extreme. because we have way less than 100 cases here in Michigan, and there my dryer goes here. We're closing all this stuff and we're canceling all this social gatherings, all because we have, at least in Michigan, way less than 100 confirmed cases, and there's been, I think there's more than 1,200, at least as of Wednesday. There's been 1,200, and today is Sunday. 1,200 cases with only very, very minimal deaths. I don't think the death toll is at 100 for this thing yet. So to me, I'm looking at it as, why are we doing all this? And there's this mass hysteria on it when there's really nothing to be really, I don't want to say there's nothing to be concerned about it with. And I think people should be, know about what's going on and be informed. But all this mass hysteria and this panic buying and everything else is just, it's just stupid. It is. It's just dumb. We're nowhere even near that yet. And I think the governments and everything is kind of put it on here as just way on the extreme, and it's way unnecessary. And this is just one man's opinion here, guys. So, guys, I'm sorry about bouncing around all that sort of stuff, but I think you're kind of getting the gist of my message about this, about the coronavirus stuff. Just real quick update on my weight here. I kind of stepped on the scale. I'm down to close to 280 pounds. Not really looking at for how long I've been exercising here. And I've just kind of started to reintroduce intermittent fasting along with my exercise here. I thought I would be down probably into the 270s, maybe into the 260 range here. And I just really haven't gotten to that. But I was at my heaviest at 305, and now I'm at 283. That's 22 pounds I've lost. So I guess that's good that I've lost the 22 pounds, but I was really hoping for much more weight to be off during when I started this in October up until now. So I think it's kind of more or less me just kind of needed to kind of clamp down on my diet. I have a lot of sit down time here too, because I really have a desk job, and that probably doesn't really help my weight loss at all. So, guys, I would really like to know your opinions about this coronavirus. Do you think I'm to the point of I'm not taking this very seriously enough? Or are you kind of guys like me where we're just kind of we're taking things way to the extreme and kind of taking out everything that humans enjoy to kind of watch and to have social gatherings being canceled? I would really like to know your opinion on it. Go ahead and put it down into the comments. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Give it a thumbs down if you do not. And that's kind of really all I'm at here. I really do apologize for not having much video content out here. I'm trying to really think of stuff to do here, because I think I'm done with the vlogging stuff, because guys, I really don't. I just think the vlogging stuff just isn't for me here, guys. I know some of you guys kind of like to watch this kind of content, but I'm just terrible at it, and that's pretty much where I'm going to just end this video. So, guys, until next time, deuces. Take care.